Hello everyone and welcome to the last installment of the run-up to the Tri-City Heresy. This time it's going to be just myself, and I'll be telling you a little bit about the lists that the players participating took. So you'll find a link to the drive with all of the lists linked in the description below, so you can check that out in more detail, whilst I'll try to be to not go on too long about these. So as usual, I'll start with introducing some of our sponsors, so that will be the last bunch. First up, we've got Deep Cut Studio from Lithuania. So they were gracious enough to send us one of their battle mats, and they've got excellent gaming mats as well. Then we've got Den of Imagination, so that's quite a big painting studio, commission studio that we've got here in Poland, and they're around for quite a long time, and they are a really professional company that can get you beautifully commissioned miniatures. After that, we've got now two companies that actually support the Team Poland, Team Poland 40k. So the first of which is Hagemon. It's actually a local gaming store located on the other far side of the country, down in Bielsko-Biała, and they really entered the market in a big way by doing all sorts of collaborations with Team Poland, for example, or some content creators we have around Poland, and they're really trying to operate in a big way. So kudos to them. Next up, we've got War Tiles. War Tiles is actually owned by one of the guys in our community, and that's where we're getting the terrain for our tournament from. Not all of the tables, but the majority of them. So that's some really nice looking WTC terrain. And last but not least, we've got a company named Safe and Sound. So they make excellent boxes and bags to carry your miniatures, be them foam ones or boxes with magnetic foil stuck inside of them. So I personally own some of them, and I could not recommend it enough. Right, moving on to the list. This is going to be brief. I'm not going to go into the bits and pieces too deeply. It's not going to be a deep dive. So the faction spread out of the 50 players that have signed up and sent rosters in. We've got 9 Necron players. So Necrons are the vast majority of the factions that are here, and I can jump into the Necron list straight away because they're quite similar. So all of these feature the Silent King. All of them feature some scarabs. And we've basically really got two kinds of rosters here that don't differ that much. They are either heavy on the scarabs. I think one of them even takes full 27 scarab bases, or they are more heavy on packing a punch, taking a unit of Triarch Praetorians, and even 4 units of destroyers. So that's 2 units of shooty ones, locust destroyers, and 2 of the combat ones. That's the majority of the Necrons. There's always, Tomb Blades and some MSU units, and all of them are obviously playing the OPSEC and pre-game move Dynasty. After that, we've got 6 Elder players. One of them is a mix of Craft Worlds and Harlequins. So it's a Harlequin battalion with some support of 3 units of Dire Avengers and Hail of Doom, along with 2 Farsees. Then we've got 2 pure Craft World boats, and the one to watch here would be this dude that is taking. So he's taking a far-flung Craft World of Masterful Shots and Vengeful, so that's exploding 6s in melee, along with ignoring cover whilst shooting. And in that list he's got a kill squad of 10 Scorpions, but he's also got quite a lot of fast attack units, namely a unit of Hawks, a unit of Warp Spiders, some small units of Shroud Runners, 5 units of Holding Band, a 5-man unit of Holding Band Shades with the souped up Exarch, and a unit of 6 Warlocks, among other things. To that, obviously, we've got Baharoth and a bunch of Farseers to provide some of the crucial psychic power support that they need. Right, and then we've got 3 Harlequins list, and if I remember correctly, those are all exactly the same. Almost all of them are the same. So that would be mainly 8 Star Weavers, along with 8 troops, and 2 Shadow Seers, a Troop Master, and 2 Death Jesters. Only Victor decided to take something else, and he managed to squeeze in a couple of bikes and still 1 of the boats, and in still 1 troop, if I'm correct there. After that, we've got 5 Space Marines. There are 2 Blood Angels, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Salamander System, 1 Death Watch list. We've got 4 Death Guard lists, and what is really interesting about those Death Guard lists is that none of them are the same. All of the players decided to take a different approach to playing Death Guard, and that's definitely something that's interesting. That a faction that doesn't really have that much variety from the site, and actually everyone who's taking it managed to come up with something different, so that's definitely refreshing. We've got 4 Knight players in total, 2 of the Chaos variety and 2 Imperial ones, one of them being a 3-blade lance. After that, we've got 3 Grey Knights players. Grey Knight players decided to, well, 2 of them decided to go for taking Nemesis Dread Knight and a Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster. The other one is a bit of a different take on Grey Knights, and taking what we got here, Terminator squads and Purifier squads, so that's definitely something a bit different than you'd usually see playing Grey Knights. After that, we've got only 2 Tyranid players. One of them is a custom build with heroically intervening monsters and objective secured monsters. So that's definitely, that's a bit similar to a behemoth build that you could have seen playing on tables not so long ago, but maybe before Nephilim, because you need a bit of those command points to remake them effective, but we'll see how that works. There is also a build that goes heavy on mortar wound output, so that's a Leviathan build with 3 units of Zoanthropes, a Maleceptor and 2 Neurothropes, along with some Harpies, so that is a lot of mortal wounds that it can dish out in a turn. After that, we've got 3 Chaos Space Marine lists. Chaos Space Marines are obviously a novelty. It's a fairly fresh codex, and this is the first GT in Poland that's going to see them play. So there's 1 Black Legion list with Abaddon and a brick of 10 Terminators, which are the most mentionable of units, and then there are our CSM experts, Danny and Vladdy. They're both taking this faction, and they're both playing a Word Bearers list with some couple differences between them. So Vladdy's taken 2 Masters of Possession, whilst Danny opted for Forge Fiends, for example. Vladdy's taken 3 Hellbrutes. So there are a couple of nuances, and we'll see who's the better Chaos Space Marine there. We've got 2 Custodes lists, 1 Demon list, 1 Orc list, 1 Genesteer Cult, and 2 Tau lists, which are actually exactly the same, fielded by very good players. So Skark, about whom you might have heard of if you follow the WTC. He's a regular Team Poland player and been to every World Championship, if I'm correct. And the other tau list is fielded by Arek. He also participated in WTC but played in the mercenary team. It's a list that has long strike along with 2 hammerheads, 2 bombers, and 3 commanders. So that list just wants to see the opponent dead, and if there's no opponent, it can grab the points it needs in the latter turns. So that's the list spread for you guys. Check them out in the link below, and let us know what you think and who, in your opinion, can win the tournament, which by the time this is published is probably starting the next day. I'll be making sure to post as much as possible, and we are doing our best to set up a stream, and if we manage to do that on during the first round, you'll see Danny, who's a regular on the show, with his word bearers that I've mentioned before, playing against Prozac, who is commanding a Warlock spam list. Alright, well, fingers crossed that's gonna work. Alright, that was myself in the last installment of the Tri-City Heresy run-up. Hope you liked this short series. It was a bit spontaneous, to be honest. I didn't really give it that much thought, but really wanted to get some hype for the tournament and hope it works. Let me know if you've got any thoughts on that. I'll be really glad to hear what you think. Alright, so that's it. Thanks very much guys for tuning in, and goodbye.